Is there anybody who's joining new, or all of you had joined us in the last session also? Yeah, so all of us were in the last session also, right? Okay. Now, I would request you to keep your mics unmute whenever necessary, because we are gonna have more of a interactive session today. Okay, we are gonna have more of an interactive session today, and as many of some of not many, but some of you asked with respect to the attribute map that we discussed in the last class. In the last class, we discussed about the attribute map, and some of you asked, sir, to put things into perspective, what would be the relevant questions to be asked with respect to this attribute map? Okay, and that was a very genuine question. For example, when you judge a product or service, for example, the positive non-negotiable factors that should be there in a product, what should be the relevant questions we should ask? Okay, now that was a very valid question. I believe some of you actually shot to me. Now, for that reason itself, I have actually chosen a practical session today. Okay, it's a very practical session on the attribute map, and we'll be discussing exactly uh, uh, how to actually visualize the attribute map in the real world with respect to a product or a service. So I've taken two examples today. One is a product and one is a service. For simplicity's sake, I've kept the product and the service with which most of you can easily relate. Okay, with which most of you can easily relate. Okay, so let's start with the product first. Okay, any guesses which product I would have chosen? Any guesses? Anybody can guess what product I would have chosen? No?
Is it the mask?
Uh, it's not the mask, because mask is what we discussed in the last session. Any guesses? Something that you use on daily basis.
Mobile.
Mobile, okay. Something that you use first in the day when you get up.
Toothpaste.
Yeah, exactly. It's a toothpaste. Okay. I believe all of you use a toothpaste here. Are there anybody who do not use a toothpaste or an alternative to toothpaste? Okay, I believe that will be hard to find out, right? If there is somebody who does not use a toothpaste, almost every one of you use a toothpaste. Okay, now to start with the customer attitude, if to just quickly revise, an attribute map is actually a tool. It's a simple mapping technique to arrive at a product that the customer needs. Okay, to arrive at a product that the customer needs. Now, as an engineer, as a developer, mostly we create products or projects. When we do projects, when we do products, we kind of think about the complexity more. We kind of think about the features more. We kind of think about how good the product would be, but we rarely think from the perspective of the customer. What does the customer wants? What are his physical needs? What are his emotional needs? Okay, so the attribute map is actually a tool to help you arrive very close to the customer's need from a product or service. Okay, so that is what is an attribute map. So it is just a tool which will help you to understand and come as close as possible to the customer's needs and requirement. Okay, because the best product that sells in the market is not the product which is the best technically or which looks the best, is the product which the customer needs, is the customer wants. Okay, so how do you create that perception in the mind of the customer, and how do you know the physical, the psychographic, emotional requirements of the customer? The attribute map is a tool for that. Okay, now when we take the example of a toothpaste, what will be some positive attitudes that are attached with the toothpaste? Now when we take, for example, positive non-negotiable attitudes, what will be some attributes? What will be some positive differentiator attributes? What will be some positive exciter attributes? Okay, so let's start first with the positive non-negotiable attributes. What three non-negotiable attributes would you expect from a toothpaste? Can I hear from you? What do you expect your toothpaste to do for you? Non-negotiable means whatever toothpaste you choose, it should do this few things, which is kind of mandatory. Yeah, what does the toothpaste do for you? Yes, can I hear from you guys? What should a toothpaste do for you?
Cleaning your mouth. Brushing your mouth.
Freshening your mouth, okay.
Yeah.
Freshening mouth, okay. Then,
Removing the dirt over
okay.
the teeth.
So, removing dirt from teeth,
Yes, sir.
okay. Then, what are the other non-negotiable thing? Any toothpaste I choose should do this. So, it should create a fresh feeling in your mouth. It should remove dirt from the teeth. Okay, let's stick to these two for the time being. Okay. Now, do you actually know that there's hardly any difference between whatever type of the toothpaste you use? Okay, whichever brand you use and all, there's very small ingredient differences. Otherwise, it's mostly same. Now, so you expect your toothpaste to freshen your mouth and remove dirt from your teeth. Okay, these are kind of non-negotiable. Means whatever toothpaste I buy, it should freshen my mouth. It should be removing every form of dirt from my teeth. Okay, so it should give me a clean teeth. Okay, fine. Now think about some positive negotiable factors. Now, non-negotiable factors. Now, how do you reduce the cost of making the toothpaste? How do you think you can reduce the cost of making the toothpaste cheaper? Example, if you are a manufacturer who's making toothpaste, how do you think you can make the toothpaste cheaper?
Mass production can reduce the.
Mass production can reduce the cost. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mass production. Okay. Then any other way you can think about reducing the cost?
Using cheap alternative ingredients in the manufacturing process.
Okay, cheaper alternatives, or we can say locally available alternatives. Okay, with respect to maybe that calcium carbonate powder or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yes,
So,
sir.
there are few ways in which you can actually get a cheaper alternative. Fine. So there are every product will have certain non-negotiable in the mind of a customer. So any customer who buys a toothpaste will have certain non-negotiable in his mind. That is, it should freshen the mouth. It should remove the dirt from the teeth. Okay, and there will always be a what do you say, a need where you are looking at reducing the cost of your toothpaste, where you're looking at reducing the cost of your toothpaste. Okay, now this is pretty simple, positive, non-negotiable. Let's quickly move on to positive but differentiator. Okay, positive. Now you have to ask these question. Okay, why does this segment buy from us and not from the competition? What do we offer that customers not only like but are prepared to pay a premium for? What do distributors and customers say we do better than anyone else? How close is the competition with comparison to matching us on these features? Now, why does this segment buy from us and not from the competition? Now, what are the different types of toothpaste in the market? Can you give me an example? A brand? What are different brands you see?
Colgate, Pepsodent,
Colgate, Pepsodent,
Dabur,
Dabur. What are the
Himalayan.
Himalaya,
Sensodyne.
Sensodyne? Then that's all. You forgot Patanjali. Yeah,
Ayush.
Ayush, Sibaka. Okay, yeah. Then anything else is there? KP Nambudris, you know. And if you actually go to a supermarket now, you'll find so many brands of toothpaste there, right? Okay, you have Close Up. Did you forget Close Up? Yeah. You have Close Up, you have Pepsodent, you have Colgate, you have Sibaka, maybe you have Dabur, Dabur Lal Dant Manjan toothpaste. You have so many alternatives. You have nowadays. You have even Patanjali. You have Sensodyne. You have Sensofoam. Okay, so you have so many different alternatives. Now, do all these toothpaste have the same following? For example, why do you buy Colgate toothpaste? If there is somebody who buy a Colgate toothpaste, why do they buy a Colgate toothpaste? Yeah, what does a Colgate toothpaste say?
Because we believe that they have the right ingredients for having a healthier teeth.
It is.
It has the right ingredients
How
to.
do they promote? They say
They have a lot of salt content.
they have the what do you say, right ingredients. So you say they have salt in them. Okay,
Hmm.
they have the salt and lemon mix or something.
Quality, better
Or
quality.
or together, if you see all the Colgate advertisement, what do they say? Strong teeth, right? They have this two calcium, pallets dashed against each other to showcase that it promotes stronger teeth. Now, how does Pepsodent sell their toothpaste? What do they say? What is their key statement they tell in all their advertisements? Yes. How does Pepsodent sell the toothpaste? What do they say? They say germy check.
Hmm.
Yeah. You remember their advertisements? Yeah. What does Pepsodent say? We give you germ-free teeth, right? We give you a germ-free teeth, right? Okay. Now, if you look at maybe Patanjali, what does Patanjali sell? How do they sell the toothpaste?
Ayurvedic, natural, no chemicals.
Ayurvedic, natural, chemical free. Okay, okay, okay. Now, if you look at maybe any other Sensodyne, how do they sell the product?
Sensitivity.
Fight sensitivity, right? If you have sensitive teeth, yeah, yeah. Now, if you look at close up, how do they sell the toothpaste?
Freshness.
Freshness. So, how do they? What kind of advertisement do they sell? Now, when I say close up, does a tune come to your mind?
Yeah, full
D-
day of
yeah,
fresh.
yeah. Does a music come to your mind? Yeah. Then do you find if you look at all these different toothpaste, for example, close up, Sensodyne or Patanjali, Pepsodent, Colgate. Now, all of them are selling toothpaste, but are they targeting the same segment in the market? No. Okay, they are targeting very different segment in the market. For example, if you take close up, whom they are targeting? They're targeting maybe young generation who are interested in fresh breath, nice smelling mouth. Okay, and they show their advertisement where two youngsters meet. There is romance. There is proximity between a boy and a girl that they showcase to showcase that close up sells. And if you use close up, maybe you can get a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Okay, whatever it is. Now that is what they should. Now, how does Sensodyne do their advertisements? Have you seen? How does Sensodyne do their advertisements?
The coldness is when someone thinks I'm cold.
Cold, or actually nowadays they show like a
Just
doctor talks about it, right? The product. There is a the dentist talking about the product. If you have a sensitive teeth, why not use Sensodyne? If you take Patanjali, how do they promote their product? Have you seen how?
Falling from the sky and make.
Baba Ramdev, who's a brand ambassador, will come and tell you that it is natural, organic, herbal. Okay, it is also a product which is not tested on animals and all those things. And finally, he'll also so he actually pitches it in a different segment altogether. When you look at Pepsodent, they say germ-free teeth. When you look at Colgate, they say strong teeth. Now you see the market is actually segmented like this. There are people who are interested in having strong gums, strong teeth. There are people who are interested in having germ-free teeth. There are people who are interested in, who are become very health conscious, who are become very health conscious to the extent that they are thinking about chemical-free, preservative-free alternatives, and these are the people whom actually Patanjali and Dabur products kind of, or Himalaya products kind of prey upon. They find these health conscious market. They kind of actually try to find the segment of health conscious people. There are people who have this sensitivity issue in their teeth because of any gum problem, teeth problem, and they may use Sensodyne. There are people who are actually fighting bad breath, so close up tries to sell. So you see the market, though it is only for toothpaste, and though the basic component used in every single toothpaste is the same, but still the market is very differentiated. There are different aspirations of people which this market is trying to sell. Now go back 30 to 40 years back, maybe you can ask your father or grandfather, and you ask them what toothpaste they used. Maybe the grandfather used the same toothpaste, grandfather's children use the same toothpaste that time, children's children use the same toothpaste. Everybody would have used the same toothpaste that time, and it would have been Colgate. But with time they kind of found out the aspirations or requirement of people are actually quite different. Okay, there are some people who are looking at strong teeth, there are some people who are looking at germs free teeth, there are some people who are looking at health consciousness, sensitivity, freshness. So when you look at differentiator, always look at your product. Is there something in your product using which you can differentiate your product in the market, right? Are you clear about it? Yeah. Now this is a very important factor because this goes in line with a strategy which is called as blue ocean strategy. Okay, have you heard about this term called blue ocean strategy? Anybody has heard about this term called blue ocean strategy?
Also,
Yeah. So
Yes, where there are no competitors.
now it will be very difficult for you to find an arena where there are no competitors. But what is the blue ocean strategy says is you cannot avoid competition, but at the same time you can always nullify competition. You cannot avoid competition, but you can nullify competition. So how do you nullify competition? The segment of the crowd who may buy Sensodyne may not be interested in Close-Up, may not be interested in Patanjali toothpaste. Okay, but segment of the crowd who may buy Patanjali product may not be interested in Pepsodent or Colgate. Now this is what is called as, see, how do you find differentiators? Okay, how do you find differentiators? So you have to find differentiators for your product to be actually pushed into the market. Let me give you a classic example of Patanjali here. How long do you know Patanjali brand exists? From how many years do you think Patanjali brand exists? Can anybody say? 4 years. Anybody knows beyond 4 years, 4 or 5 years? Anybody has known Patanjali brand beyond that? Anybody uses Patanjali toothpaste?
Yes, sir. I use.
Okay. So now, from how long do you use it?
It's more than 4 years. I don't know exactly.
Around more than 4 years. Okay. So maybe 5 to 6
Yeah,
years,
around
maybe.
like around. I feel like 8 years to for sure.
8 years. So what do you guys think? When did the Patanjali came into existence? If you remember, Patanjali came into existence in year 2006 itself, 2004, 5, 6, that time. But only it was later on by 2010, 12 and all, they started looking at a changing actually customer preferences in India. In 2014, a government which is favorable to their aspirations came to the center, and they started pitching in with the help of that government this product in a very different segment. That is, they started pitching Patanjali products, and they had research to back them up from McKinsey actually, which who said actually if you just put your product out there as a toothpaste, for example, Patanjali was going to sell a toothpaste, so Patanjali was up against the likes of Hindustan Unilever products or Procter and Gamble, all these huge market giants at that time who had very good presence. For example, it may be Colgate, it may be Close-Up, it may be Pepsodent, it may be Sensodyne. Now these guys had very healthy market penetration already. Now how would Patanjali come and sell the product there? Now that is where the research actually told them that if you segment your product in the health conscious people's mind, okay, if you target the health conscious people, maybe you'll be able to sell your product because your product is claims to be Ayurvedic product. All that you have to do, you have to do a marketing stint of pushing a product to your customer based upon health conscious needs. That's why then they started advertisement campaigns where they said their toothpaste are organic or natural, it's herbal, it is made from Indian herbs, traditional herbs, authentic herbs. They started saying even if you use toothpaste, you are actually contributing to Indianization. They brought a little bit of patriotism spirit into it. And then when it went to the market, now still, for example, now you are using Colgate toothpaste for how many years? Maybe you are using it for how many years? Maybe you are using it, your father used it, your father's father used it. Okay, maybe there are generations of people who are using Colgate toothpaste, and next time they go to the supermarket, by default their hands will fall on Colgate toothpaste and they'll buy it. Okay, now you have to change that person's perspective and make him buy Patanjali toothpaste. Now, so how do you think Patanjali actually segmented this market again? What do you think? What did they do? What was the second step they did? Of course, they advertised through TV channels and all. What was the second step they did? Any idea? Anybody can guess any idea? You know, you what do you think they would have done? Now they
So
did
personal branding. What Patanjali? I mean, the
personal.
personal branding. The guy, he
Uh-huh.
branded himself.
The guy branded himself personal branding. Yeah. Okay. So that gave them one push to buy, choose Patanjali toothpaste. But what was the ultimate push in the Indian customer's mindset, an average Indian customer's mindset when they buy a product? FMCG product, fast moving consumer good product. Now, one thing their research found out was India is also price sensitive market. But if you price something for less, 5% less, 10% less, people may not give a very big. For example, if you're buying Colgate toothpaste and it's for 100 rupees, a 100-gram Colgate toothpaste is for 100 rupees. Imagine. Now, when your father would go to the market the next time, because he makes the buying preferences most of the time, or your mom, when they go and they see a 100 rupees toothpaste over there, now, if they see Patanjali toothpaste is priced at 94 rupees, they will say, it's just 5 rupees more. Why should I go and buy a Patanjali toothpaste? Because I am using Colgate toothpaste. My teeth are good. My father uses it. My father's father uses it. Our teeth are good. Why should I go to a new alternative all of a sudden? It will be difficult then for them to make a shift. That is where the market research said, if you are able to push your product with at least 18% price cut. So for example, if Colgate toothpaste is sold at 100 rupees, sell Patanjali toothpaste for less than 82 rupees. If that happens, then you will have a chance where people will start buying your product. And actually, this market strategy actually helped Patanjali. They started selling off their products with less than 18, 20, sometimes even 20% lesser cost than the other products. And that actually gave the customers an idea, why not I give it a try? Why not I give it a try? And when you tried it, when you took the Patanjali toothpaste, started brushing with it the next day, say next day you found it, you found Baba Ramdev maybe coming on the television and again promoting the product in the big way, and he started putting the concept of this Patanjali toothpaste deeper into your mind. Okay, now this is how they differentiated the market. If you are a health conscious customer, if you like to buy a toothpaste that is herbal, natural, Ayurvedic, then why not Patanjali? And to make you make a decision of making the purchase, they actually put a concept of even priceless. Okay, they actually reduce the price. Now that is what is called as a positive differentiator. Yeah, you are able to understand what's a positive differentiator. Yeah. So what do we offer that customers not only like but are prepared to pay a premium for? Okay, find a reason for it. What do distributors and customers say we do better than anyone else? Okay, so I produce Ayurvedic product, herbal product. I don't have much competition with respect to it. Okay, so these are certain questions that you need to answer when it comes to positive differentiator. You need to differentiate your product in a way that you nullify competition and not keep on competing with established brands. Okay, yeah. Now the third thing that you should find out is the exciter. Okay, positive exciter. Okay, now as I have put it here. Okay, if a genie in a bottle granted us one wish that would allow us to redesign a product or service and add an or enhance a attribute in such a way that we would capture huge market share, what would we wish for? Okay, now if I should ask you, okay, now think innovatively. You are launching a new toothpaste tomorrow. You are launching a new toothpaste. Okay, and if this toothpaste should capture a huge market, if this toothpaste should capture a huge market, what would be that one attribute that you would add or maybe remove, okay, or enhance, by which you will capture a huge market? What do you guys think? What will be that one attribute? Any guesses? What will be that one attribute that you would like to see in your toothpaste, or you would enhance in your toothpaste to capture a huge chunk of market?
Flavor.
Flavor, okay. Then
Remove all the competitors.
remove.
All the competitors.
Okay, so how do you remove all the competitors? You stop their manufacturing process. How do you?
By the mouth.
Yeah,
By the
Less
mouth.
less
yeah.
chemicals and more natural ingredients.
Okay, less chemical and more natural ingredients. Okay,
What? Why not if someone could use a toothpaste not only to brush their teeth but
okay,
something?
okay. Somebody could use a toothpaste for not only brushing their teeth but something else also. Okay, for example, as a
Cleaning purpose.
as a
It's a cleaning agent or cleansing agent.
oh, okay. Maybe as a face wash also.
Yeah, face wash.
That would be
Okay.
dope, man.
Okay,
That would
face.
be dope.
That will be no. Okay. What will be that one thing that you may enhance? Now, it may be in the toothpaste. It may be in the packaging of the toothpaste also. Okay, or it may be some additional component that comes with the toothpaste also. Okay, so it can be anything, but can there be one feature that you can add to your toothpaste which will kind of capture a huge market? Okay, for example, Colgate sells on the concept of strong teeth. Close up sells on the concept of freshness. Patanjali sells on the concept of natural herbal. Can you bring a combination of some of these things and bring a totally new product in toothpaste which will actually capture a huge chunk of market? Now, this is what is called as the exciter. This is what is called as the exciter. Okay. Now, this is more of a marketing gimmick. Okay. Most of the times, you may Colgate may add a small element. Okay, for example, Colgate may say it is salt enabled. Now, how good is salt to your teeth? We do not know, nobody knows. But it may say this is salted, and this actually enhances the quality of the product so much that it will give you a better teeth and gum health and all those things. Okay, is there one component that you can add to your product which will make your product desirable in the eyes of the customer? So much desirable that people will actually buy. See, toothpaste are sold based upon germ whitening. Some toothpaste also says your teeth will shine, right? Suppose now you are selling a toothpaste that when you brush every morning, and that day when you go out and smile at somebody, they can see stars shining in your mouth. They can see a glitter from your teeth. It will be white as snow and there will be a glitter in your teeth. I don't know if you have seen a Happy Dent advertisement, right? Old Happy Dent advertisement.
Doing
Yeah. So what if you are able to make a toothpaste which will bring that glitter in your mouth? Okay, with an excite with a smell of a flavor, for example, with a mint smell, with a lemon smell, or smell of maybe a flower or something like that. Okay, I'm just shooting it randomly. Now what I'm saying is, can there be that one feature that you can enhance or put it in front of your customers which will make your customers to want it? Okay, I should get it, I cannot live without it. So that is what is called as the exciter option. That is what is called as the exciter, positive exciters. Now it may not come with any extra cost at all. Okay, it may be something that involves very less cost. Okay, as I gave an example in the last class, Honda cars were super selling cars in USA from 1985 to 1988, 1980, and just for one reason was because they had a cup holder. Okay, because they had a cup holder integrated with it. It was not because of the engine quality or aerodynamics and all, which all the other cars were actually trying to compete with Honda. But actually Honda car were most preferred by office goers just because it had a cup holder. Now, can there be one exciting factor that you can add with your product which will make your product sell like hotcakes? Now, how do you find out this exciter factor? How do you find it out? How do you find it out? Yes, how do you find out this exciter factor? How do you find out? The only way to find it out is by empathizing with your customer. Okay, you have to listen to your customer, especially a customer service. For example, you have to listen what is the expectation of a student from a toothpaste who's studying in a college, who goes to college. What is the expectation of a girl? What is the expectation of a boy? Okay, so by knowing their deep seated desires, needs, and taking advantage of that is what you can, how you can give an exciter factors. Okay, and also you should find out, is it within the realm of possible for you. Okay, it should not be something that you cannot do at all. Yeah, so is it clear to you what is attribute map with respect to positive attitude? Yes, and what questions should be asked? Is it clear to you? Any doubt till here? Any doubts or anything you like to contribute? Yes, any doubts you guys have? Okay, so shall we continue? Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so fine. So actually I'll stop with this, with the toothpaste. Okay, now let's think from a service perspective. Okay, now let's think from a, if you're offering some service. Okay, for example, if you're offering Redbus can be told as a product that is it's actually a service based business. Maybe Make My Trip or Oyo Rooms may be a service based business. What if you are having a startup or a business which is in the service sector? Maybe even education sector can be a service sector, can be put inside a service sector. Okay, now let me give you take one example which is very pretty close to us. Okay, now let's take the example of maybe our university. Okay, let's take the example of a university. Okay, the admissions are coming very soon, and we know there are stiff competition in getting students admitted in universities now, and all these things are going on. Now let me ask you one question. um, um, what would be a positive non-negotiable to deliver from the perspective of a university? What do you think? What would be three non-negotiables that you will expect from a university? Means I joined university for this reason. These are the basic reasons for which I joined university. What do you think? What would be that? Yes. Why did you join university? Why did you join a university? For what reason did you join? Yes. For what reason do you guys join a university? What are the non-negotiables? Means when you exit university, you should have it. Basically, you all join the university to get a degree.
Yes.
Yes. What are the other non-negotiables that you expect from the university? Means if I join the university, I should have it. I'll not compromise on it.
Good communication skill, leadership quality.
Okay, now that is personal, but in the sense, what do you expect the university to offer to you, a college or university to offer to you, uh, which is non-negotiable?
placement.
Of course, they should give you degree. Okay, so they should give you placement. What else? They should definitely teach you, right? Yeah, they should teach you every subject, right? So these are certain non-negotiable. Okay, so let's limit to these three. Now if you are joining university, you expect the university to basically give you a degree at the end of 4 years, of course if you pass your exams, but you expect the universities nowadays to give you placement. Universities advertise that we give 100% placement, because that is one of the main expectation of joining a university. Many of you would have joined a specific course or the university keeping in mind that this university would give you a placement, right? Yeah, and the some other this thing is, you expect the university to teach you the subject or the skill that it has professed to teach you. Okay, so these are non-negotiable. Now, can the university find ways to reduce costs in offering this? What do you think? Can the university find ways so for example, now you are paying how much fee in 4 years to the university for pursuing a BTech degree in Karunya? How much fee do you pay?
13 lakhs.
13 lakhs? Okay. So you pay 13 lakhs, right? Now university will also be spending a kind of same amount on you. Okay, for example, they are giving you facilities, they are giving you faculties, they are giving you infrastructure, they are giving you softwares, they are giving you, they are making so many provisions for you, right? So there are so much of expenses involved in giving you that degree finally, right? They have to conduct examinations. So now tell me, okay, how can they reduce the cost in offering these three things, that is giving you degree, giving you placement, and giving you teaching? Yes, how can they reduce the cost? For example, in teaching, how can they reduce the cost? Now they should have faculties, yeah, they have to pay salaries for faculties. Now how can they reduce the cost incurred in this? Any ideas? Now can we do something to reduce the cost in a particular way that the competitors cannot do, or sometimes maybe competitors are also doing it? Yeah, how do you expect them to reduce the cost to offer these three things? For example, how who teaches you the subjects? Faculties, right? And do they come to your class and teach you the subjects? All of them come to your class and teach you the subject, so you need physical faculties teaching you the subject, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And most of the subjects that are taught to you are kind of delivered in the class by chalk and talk or PPT and talk. I would say 90% of the subjects are delivered like that.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think? 90% of the subjects are delivered through PPTs nowadays.
Yes, sir.
They put a PPT and they explain to you from PPT, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So can this classroom delivery system be moved somewhere else? For example, thanks to this lockdown, are you able to see what do you say, virtual online classrooms being floated now by almost every faculty? Yeah, this was not even conceived in the minds of faculties before, right? But now they are forced to do it. But is it reducing the cost actually? Yeah, is it reducing the cost actually with respect to teaching? Will it be reducing the cost? To a great extent, I believe, right? Because see, if we are teaching online, we require fewer teachers, or we require fewer infrastructure compared to what your classroom infrastructure is involved, right? So are there ways, or are there ways, for example, now government is also allowing students to take up courses online through Swayam portal. Up to 20% of your courses may be taken through Swayam portal. Now if you are able to take 20% of your credits, for example, if you are taking around 20 credits on only on Swayam portal, so for the 20 credits you don't require a faculty, so that is lesser burden on university, so they can reduce the cost by telling all the students, go ahead, register courses online. So you have to find means by which you can reduce the cost in any service, okay, in any service. Now how is the placement classes taken for you? I believe all of you would have been enrolled in placement coaching also, right? In our university. So how does the placement coaching happen? How does this placement training happen? Even I'm not very clear about it. I want to know from you. So how does it happen? For the students who are attending placement training, how does it happen in your departments? Yes? Who comes and actually handles it? Is it your own teachers?
No.
Then who comes and handles it?
Someone from the who is already working in any IT company.
IT company people come and handle it. Okay,
Yeah.
then who else comes? For some of you, it is also outsourced, right? For example, it is outsourced to third parties, right? For example, to iPoint or Time and all those things. Some of you would be going through training under them also, right? Now, how do they do that? These people actually send their individual persons to your classrooms who will come and teach you maybe general aptitude or technical aptitude skills. Yeah, personally. Now, aren't these general aptitude, technical aptitude skills that are required for maybe computer science students or electronics and communication students or mechanical students quite same? All of them require the same skill, right? Yeah. Now, every faculty who comes to your class is paid separately, is paid actually separately for each session. So if you have 30 faculties are paid separately. Now that is actually a huge investment. Okay, so if you're paying 4,000 rupees per faculty per session, imagine 30 faculties paid that much for every session that you have classes is actually big investment. Now, how would you reduce this cost? Any ideas you can give? How can you reduce this cost of teaching technical aptitude and general aptitude subjects? How can you reduce this cost? Any ideas?
By giving the department teachers the duty of
By giving the department teachers this duty, but the problem is department teachers may be already overloaded with their subjects, right? And sometimes they may not do a very good job, right? Because these guys who are teaching technical aptitude and general aptitude are doing it full time, so they will be always better placed in doing that than our department faculties, right? Okay, so that is one option. Okay, what are the other options?
we can hire another recruit from some other
Or they can
institution.
recruit from some other institution, but recruiting would be like we'll have to pay them continual salary, right? Like monthly based salary then, right? That will be more costlier, right?
Mm.
So any other alternatives? What if, see, if mechanical CSE EC, yeah, yes, yes, please go ahead. Yes, somebody was telling something.
I think that was by mistake.
Okay, okay.
So
Now, if suppose now mechanical EC, CSE, triple E, biotech. Now, if all of them have to learn the same technical and general aptitude, why not have these sessions alone online, right? Only the subject-based aptitude classes that you would take may require separate faculty. So, what if we shift it to an online session? For example, if all of you are given online sessions like NPTEL courses or Coursera courses are offered, you will require only one faculty who can be the best among those 30, who can be recorded online, and his lectures can be provided to every single student in the university through online portal, and there can be a test floated. By this, what happens is you actually reduce the cost that you incur on training for placement. Okay, on training for placement. So in the same way, if you actually deeply analyze even in the basic requirements that the university provides, there can be cost cutting done. Okay, there can be some cost cutting done, and this is very important aspect for any business to thrive in the initial days. Now, I'm not saying university is a business, but okay, whatever you can decide that. But what I'm saying is, it for any business to thrive, you have to find out the non-negotiable aspect. At the same time, you have to find out in offering those non-negotiable aspect with as less a cost as possible. Okay, that makes your business sustainable over a long run. Okay, otherwise it makes your business difficult to be sustainable over a long run. Okay, now what is the differentiate? Now when you take our university for example, why should somebody come to our university and study? What makes them? What is something? What is? Why does this segment buy from us and not from the competition? Yes. Now let me ask you one question before that. Who's the customer for Karni University? Any answers? Who's the customer for Karni University?
All high school graduates.
High school graduates. Okay. Anybody else?
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm wrong or if I'm
Yeah.
saying something outspoken, but religion, sir.
Religion. Okay, religion. No problem. You're not sorry for that or anything. Okay, so who's the customer? Maybe religious organizations, if I'm right. More right or more close to your this thing perspective. Religious organizations, maybe what you're saying, yeah. Or
Yes, exactly.
religious organizations, maybe customers. Okay, some and yeah,
Parents.
parents may be customer. Now, who's a customer basically?
So, an a company who
An
needs to serve
IT
us.
company. Okay, who's a customer?
The one who pays.
Exactly, the one who pays the money. Now, who pays the money to the university?
Parents.
Parents of the students, right? So, actually, are the students the customer?
No.
No, they are consumers. Okay, they are not customers. But parents who pay the money are customers. Now, let me give you another example. Now, let me tell you, for every product or service, there's a thin line of difference between a customer and a consumer. For a toothpaste that we discussed before this, the customer and consumer are the same, can be the same. The father who buys the toothpaste will also use the toothpaste. Okay. But at the same time, when it comes to a university, the father who actually pays for it may not go and study there, right? His son goes and studies there, his daughter goes and studies there. So the customer and consumer are different. For example, who's a customer for a baby product like Cerelac or Nan or maybe a diaper? Who's a customer for it? Would you
Yeah.
say
Parent.
would you say a baby is a customer for it? No, right? Because baby does not make decision. Who makes the decision? The parents make the decision. They pay for it. Okay. Now that is what the baby is just a consumer. The customer is actually the parent. Now this is very,
So,
yeah.
excuse me, sir. So, there are students who took educational loans by themselves and
Exact. Now if there are students who are paying for their own education, then they themselves are the customer.
the customers.
Yes, exactly. If there are students who are taking education loan or who are paying from their pocket, I know some students who are paying from their pocket and studying, then they are the customer. Okay. Now what is the differentiation that I want to put in your mind is a customer is the one who pays. Is that clear to you? Yeah.
Yes.
At the end of the day, a customer is the one who pays. Okay. When you advertise or when you market your product, who should be in your mind, a customer or a consumer?
Consumer.
Consumer. Now when you take this positive differentiator, that is when you show difference between Karunya University with respect to other university, who should be in your mind, a customer or a consumer? Who should be in your mind, a customer or consumer? Yeah.
The question once more.
When you take this positive differentiator, for example, when you are showcasing unique aspects of Karunya University, whom should you show it to? Should you show it to parents or should you show it to students?
I guess both,
Yes, both.
because
Yes.
like the student gets more attracted to the offers from that particular college, he may force their parents to get into it.
The students actually can make decisions for their parents. For example, they can have an actually vital play in the decision making of their parents, right? Yeah. Now this is a little bit more complex issue than as simple as it can happen. Now, for example, for some of you, your parents would have allowed you to make the decision, right? You choose any college, I'm okay with it. For some of you, your parents would have made the decision for you. I'll make the decision, you go study there, right? For some of you, maybe there was no other option, so you landed up here, or maybe this was the best option among the options you had. Okay. Now the customer and consumer behavior will be very difficult, but let me tell you, when you're looking at the differentiating thing, positive differentiators, you should actually find the positive differentiators for the people who will buy from you first or who will pay from you first. Okay. Now Karunya is a Christian minority institution. Yes. Yes, and as per UGC norms, we have to admit at least 70% of our students from Christian minority, from minority sections in the community, right? Now this is our niche market segment. Now this is our niche market segment. Now let me ask you, what will be the aspiration of this segment when they choose a university? Can you think from their perspective now? Yeah. Can you think from their perspective now? What will be the aspiration of this segment when it comes to university? Are you able to get it? Where am I taking you? Where I am taking you? Yes. Are you able to get it? I am
Yes,
trying
sir.
to segment the market. Now, one of you said when we think about customer, it is all the high HSC pass out students. Now, all the HSC pass out students may belong to different segment. For example, there will be students who are coming from science background, commerce background, arts background and all. Okay. Now, in that there will be students who are coming from science background. Now, they will be our target for taking the engineering courses. But should all the students who have finished science background come to Karunya University for taking the admission? Will all of them come? Can we target all of them? Not possible. In India, more than 15, India more than around 25 lakh students write 12th standard exam every year in science group. That does not mean we can go and target all of them. So whom would we target actually? Only them who are actually writing 12th science, but maybe 12th science with an interest to study in a residential institution maybe, or with an interest to study an engineering program maybe, and even in that with an interest to study in a Christian minority institution. You see, now our niche segment of the market, okay, what I want to actually highlight here is this segment. The market segment that we are looking at is actually very niche, or is actually a very small segment where we are segmenting it based upon their 12th standard, what group they have taken, what is their aspirations, what is the community that they come from, because UGC has given us some guidelines. Okay, so our niche segment will be 12th science graduating students, majoritively from Christian backgrounds, from Christian minority institutions who may come to Karunya. Now this is what is our segment. Now what is the segment buy from us that and not from the competition? If I should ask you, what is that one thing that they can get from us which they will not get from other competition? Yes, what is that one thing in Karunya which they will not get in competition in other universities, maybe in some in VIT, SRM, or all the other colleges? What do you think? What is that one thing that you will get in Karunya that they will not get in other universities? What you would not get in other university? Can you tell? Yes. What do you think? What is that one thing you get in Karunya that you may not get in other universities? Any guesses?
So those kind of campus,
Yeah.
Nature,
the campus
trees.
Nature. Then fine. Then what else?
infrastructure.
Infrastructure. Now infrastructure may be there in all the other colleges also, right?
Yes.
Okay, but let me just put it over here. Okay, nature. I want to. One thing that is unique for our campus is our serene environment, right? Nature, or it is kind of very close to Sirwani, or you can say pollution-free environment. Okay. Now, this is a real actually example. Actually, there was me and one other faculty. We were actually promoting university through an education stall around 4 to 5 years back in northern part of our country, North India, in one of the states. Now, when we were promoting there were many parents actually coming to the stall and inquiring which is this university, what all courses we offer, and a parent actually came and his son was actually interested in pursuing engineering, so he was asking a lot of details. So I was telling him, so I actually started explaining him out of a lot of interest that we offer this engineering course, this engineering course, this engineering course. We are a fully residential program. We offer this quality. We are NB accredited, NAC accredited, and all those things. And the father was not very amused. He was, so he said, in short, this is there in every university. This is there in the universities in my state also. Now at that point, I had nothing else to tell him. Okay, I had nothing else to tell him. But the colleague, the faculty colleague who had come with me, he actually said, "Sir, which state do you come from?" And he immediately told he comes from Delhi. And when he said he comes from Delhi, he said, "Sir, in our university you can breathe fresh air, pollution free, fresh air." Okay, and that kind of nailed it. Okay, and when he said pollution free fresh air, your son can breathe pollution free fresh air. Actually, that guy became more interested. He said, how is that possible? He said, because we are situated 30 kilometers away from the campus. Our campus is actually surrounded on three sides by mountains. The water that comes to a campus is the second tastiest and the world's purest, and all these things he started talking about the campus, which actually was not there in any of the other competitor campus that were there in the mind of the father. Yeah. So this is one differentiator that they were able to take in that time. Okay, and which the competitors did not have. Okay, so what is that one differentiator to the segment that you can talk about which others may not have? Okay, so if nature is one thing, what can be the other differentiator? Let's go to the next question. What do we offer that customers not only like but are prepared to pay a premium for? What do you think? What is that we offer that the customers not only like but are prepared to pay a premium for, or prepared to pay the price for? What do distributors and customers say we do better than anyone else? How close is the competition? Okay, so let's dwell in these questions. What do we offer that customers not only like but are prepared to pay a premium for? Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think, guys? What do we do? What do we offer in our university that people are willing to pay a price for it? Yes. What I wish to listen from you guys. What do we offer that the customers will, or the parents are willing to pay for it, or the students who are studying on loan are willing to pay for it? What do we offer so unique that they're willing to pay for it? Yeah. What do you think?
So there are like programs like IST
Yeah.
programs.
IAEST. Okay, maybe IST program. What do distributors and customers? Okay, customers say we do better than anyone else. Maybe I should say Christian value-based education. Okay, or maybe imposing discipline. Okay, so some
International
yeah,
connections.
yeah,
International connection.
international connections. International connections. Okay. Okay, so what we do better than the others? Okay, now positive differentiator is not something using which you can win the competition. It's something actually which will set you apart in the market. Are you able to understand that? Yeah, and it is something in line with your customer first. Okay, so why does who would be Carnegie University more worried about when it is thinking about creating positive differentiator? Who'll come in the mind of Carnegie University first? What do you think? Who'll come in the mind of Carnegie University first? Who should come in the mind of Carnegie University first? Who's the customer for Carnegie University? Yeah,
Parents.
Parents.
Exactly. So the positive differentiators that would be created will be for parents first. Okay, because parents would like their children to be safe, secure. They will like their children to have good food. They'll like their children to be protected. Then they'll also like their children to have international collaboration or international exposure. They like their children to maybe go abroad. But at the same time, and many of your parents also will be willing, if you're from maybe Christian minority background, they'll say, I also want my child to have a Christian value based education, right? I want my child to be groomed well. He should be disciplined. Okay, so all these things are the aspiration of parents. Now, if I should ask you straightforward this question, were these your aspirations when you joined the course? What were your aspirations as a student? What were your aspirations? Did you have so many aspirations from an engineering course? As a student, what were your aspirations? Yes? As a student, what were your aspirations? What are your fundamental aspirations as a student? Maybe you did not have such a deep aspiration, right? You're okay if there was pollution, not no pollution. You're okay if the campus was in the city or away from the city. What you wanted was a good degree, a good placement, and all those things. But if you look at a holistic approach, the positive differentiator is not keeping student in mind first with respect to university, of course. It is actually keeping the customer, the parents in mind first. Yeah. So find out positive differentiators, especially in service industry, not from the perspective of consumer alone, but also from the perspective of your customer. This is very important principle. Yeah. Any doubt till here? Any doubt till here? Yeah.
So you're saying that they should keep a balance between the consumer need and the customer need, right?
Exactly. But
But
above that, they should keep the customer need first.
yeah, that's
Because
what exactly happening in Karunya, right?
because at the end of the day, uh, would you be more bothered about the people who pay the money or who use your resources? Whom would you be more bothered about? Yeah, in any business, who pay the money, right? Because they make
Yeah,
the
yeah.
more buying decision, right? Right. In any product or any service, the person who takes the money out of his pocket and pays is the person who makes most of the decision in buying, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in
Yes.
any business or service, the person who pays the money or the customer will get the first preference. And every see disciplines are not liked by you, right? Going out of the hostels after 6:30 is liked by girls, but will not be liked by girls' parents. Are there any girls in the group today? Would they agree with me? Yeah? Would they agree with me? Yeah. Now, am I right? Are you able to understand? Yeah. Now, there are certain rules. For example, assembly every day may be liked by you, maybe not liked, but your parents may like it a lot, right? Some of your parents may say that's a very good discipline, right? You would get on time, you'll go to college. Now, see, there are certain attributes built into the system not according to your interest, but in the interest of your parents or in the interest of the founders who found the university also. But what I'm saying is a university, any service business should think about the customer first. Now, sometimes the business actually gets the customer itself wrong. Okay. As I said, a customer is the one who pays, is not the person who uses alone. Okay. For certain businesses, the customer and the consumer may be the same. But most of the businesses, the customer and consumer are actually quite different. Okay. And the decision is made by both of them. Decision is made by both of them. But majority decision goes in the hands of the customer who pays for it. Yeah. Any other doubt?
Sir.
Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when it comes to positive differentiator, always think from the perspective of your customer first, then from the perspective of your consumer. Okay. Is it clear? Yeah. Okay. So look at some other examples. Look at maybe baby products. Okay. Can the babies make the decision to buy anything for themselves? Whether it is diapers, whether it is maybe what do you say, a Cerelac or a drink, health drink. Can baby make the decision or a small child make the decision? Who makes the decision? Mostly the mothers, right? Mostly the mothers and the fathers, right? Now when you create the product, you should have them in your mind. What will this diaper be convenient to them? Will this particular product be convenient for use to them? Can they use it or can others use means can they use it with convenience? Can they use this diaper easily and dispose it easily? Will this be comfortable? Now when it comes to consumer, they will see, will this formula be tasty for your consumer? Because if the baby is not happy with the product, of course the parents will actually change their product. Okay. So consumer is also in the mind of the person, but first the customer comes in the mind of the person, then only the consumer. For example, the parents may be influenced. If there is something good for the baby, even if the baby does not like it, the parents will give it, right? Nevertheless, say have it because it is good for you. Now this is a very important aspect when it comes to understanding the perspective of the customer and the consumer. Remember, if a person pays for it, then he is the first person you should look for. He's the first person you are supposed to sell it to. Okay. Then only the second and the third person. Yeah. Then only the consumer. Then only the consumers. Yeah. Shall we go to the next thing? Next topic? Next aspect? Yes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
okay. Next is a very interesting topic. Now, if there is one thing that you can have in Karunya, okay, which will create this exciter factor, okay, what will be that one thing which will want every students to run to Karunya to study? What will be that one thing? If there is one thing that Karunya would offer, which would make Karunya popular among every choice in the segment. Okay, that's one thing. It can be redesign of any course, or it can be, an attribute enhancing as already existing attribute. What would be that one thing? What do you think? What is that hidden feeling, you have that I should have had this in the university, but anyway, I cannot have it. Universities don't offer it, but it would have been
College
good.
events.
College events, okay. Uh, There are so many events in college, right? What kind of? Can you be
No,
more
like
specific?
concert type.
Okay,
Culture,
concert, culturals, okay. What with that
tech
one thing?
events.
Okay, tech events. What with that one? See, tech events, even Karunya does, maybe not at the scale that you expect. What is that exciting factor, you know, for which, people will die to study in Karunya? Let me tell you, let me say like, something without this, college life is incomplete without this, you'll feel. What's that one exciting factor that you like to have? So it may be a college event, it may be a technical event, it may be a techno commercial event, or it may be a techno-cultural event, or it may be something like this. What is it? Or is there anything else which will actually create a very big USP for the university?
Actually, nothing.
Yeah. What is that? Yeah. I wasn't able to get it. What is that? Is there something like that we can come up with which is beneficial also at the same time, but that creates that exciting factor? It's fun to study in Karna. It's exciting to study in Karna. It's adventurous to study in Karna, or something like that. Can you think about it? Now it's tough to think about it. Okay, I can understand. It's tough to think about, not only from Karna's perspective, but from any university's perspective. But this can be a game changer. For example, for example, I say, now I don't know how much it's possible. For example, I say, if you join Karunya University from year one, half the time in a day, for example, 5 hours you'll be attending college, 5 hours you'll be studying in you'll be actually working in an industry. How will that sound for you?
So,
It would be
yes,
something
that is
different, right? Yeah. What if you say, the moment you join the university, you have a job in hand? It's tough, right? In the sense, it is not that easy to think about it. But have you heard about HCL offering work integrated learning along with Shastra and BITS Pilani? There's something called as work integrated learning that is popular today. Now it has permeated to standard 10th also, and even standard 12th. Now, if you, after finishing 12th, rather than going and joining a university, what they're saying, join BITS Pilani or Shastra's work integrated learning, where you'll be spending majority of your time in HCL working and learning on the workspace there. At the same time, at the end of 5 years, actually it is 5 year program, you'll also get a BTech degree. You'll also get a BTech degree. Do you find that interesting? What do you think? Do you find that interesting?
yes, sir.
Or what if you say,
Yeah.
every alternate month of your stay in Karunya, you'll be in industry, and 1 month of that stay will be abroad. Some of you will be in Israel, some of you will be in USA, some of you will be in Australia or Sweden or something like this. What do you think? With no extra cost. What do you think? By some mean, Karunya is able to find out different partners through its alumni. Already there are thousands of alumni all over the world. They are able to offer 1 month, 2 month internships in their organizations in the world, and somehow Karunya is able to pitch them that every year just allow them 1 month to stay at your place and come back to university. Now if this promise is there from the university that we will make sure that you will spend 1 month time every year in different parts of the world. So year one you'll be in Australia, year two you may be in Israel, USA, and it may differ for every student based upon their capacity, their interest, their field of expertise. What do you think? Will that attract a kind of students? Will that be an exciting factor for students to join Karunya? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that is what is that exciter factor. Okay. That is what is the exciter factor. Again, you have to always think, is it in the realm of the possible? And if it is realm of the possible, does it require a lot of money to be spent on it? Or can it be accommodated within the money that is spent on it? You have to decide. Okay, so that is what is called as the positive exciter. Okay, now let me ask you, how are the universities attracting students these days? You're seeing universities admission procedures going on, right? How are they attracting students these days? If I should ask you a question, how are they attracting students these days? Anybody? How are the advertisements going on? Yes.
Like they'll say seats are filling fast.
Okay, seats are filling fast. Okay, fine. Any other way they are attracting students? They say there are scholarships. For example, there are scholarships. Yeah. For example, they say there are scholarships up to 5 crores, 10 crores, 15 crores available. Yeah. If you have 95% and above, you have a scholarship. Right. This is the most common admission study. Have you seen this kind of advertisements in places nowadays? Yeah. You have 90% and above, you'll have this much scholarship, or some of them say, yeah, if you have come within this many ranks in the university or in this IIT JEE exam, but you have missed IIT, come to Manipal or VIT and we'll give you admission at this discounted rate. All these advertisements are going on there, right? Now, if suppose there are 10 universities in Tamil Nadu, and if all the universities are pitching their admission on what do you say, on scholarship, okay, then scholarship is one factor that will not become an exciter factor for you to pitch your admission. Are you able to understand, guys? Are you able to understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
If there is something that is commonly attributed to everybody, then it does not become an exciter for your institution. Okay. If there is something so uncommon but is wanted or needed by the students, okay, then it becomes an exciter factor. Okay, so it should be something uncommon. Okay, so for example, you start this 1 month study abroad program every year. 1 month or 2 month you will study abroad. If you start this program, if suppose Karuni has to start this, may start this program, and with no extra cost, the cost will be actually taken from their fee itself. So if with no extra cost, now what will happen is it creates a separate market segment. Those students who aspire to study abroad, who want to spend couple of months abroad, will definitely take Karuni as the first option. So that will nullify the competition. So is there any positive exciter factor that you can add along with your course? Now that can actually enhance your this thing. Okay, so you're able to understand this much? Yes. Yeah. Any doubt or any questions till here? Any doubt or any questions till here?
The reputation of the institution can also play a good role, right?
Definitely, reputation of the institution also plays a good role. It is true for any businesses, okay, but reputation is built over a long period of time. So if you take for example our university also, based upon its reputation, we'll get a number of students. But beyond that, if you want to get, because we have also expanded our university, increase the number of courses, increase the number of intake. If we have to go beyond that reputation's intake, we need to advertise. We need to market. We need to market our course based upon some exciter factor, something that is unique, which only I have, nobody else have. Okay, or which I am new to start. Others are not there. For example, IST is one thing that only we have, Manipal has, right? This is an exciter factor, right? There are so many offers that we give through IST which others don't have. Okay, so that is an exciter factor. You're able to understand where we are getting at?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll continue with the next aspect, that is the negative attitude. Now this is very important. Most of the time we oversee this negative attitude, but let me tell you, this can threaten the existence of any institution or any business or any startup if not dealt in time. If not dealt in time. Okay, so in the attribute map, negative attitude is something that is very important. Okay, it's very important. Okay, now when it comes to negative attitude, yeah, now when it comes to negative consumer attitude, there may be certain negative attitudes of the customer which are kind of tolerable, in the sense the customer may live with it. Okay, and even if he is living with it over a period of time, he may get used to it and he may not bother it, because this may be an aspect that is available in, that is happening in other institutions also, other businesses also, or other services or products also. Now there will be certain negative aspects which it can become a dissatisfier, which may start slowly irritating your customer. Now there may be certain negative aspect which may enrage your customer, where your customer kind of becomes so frustrated with it that he will definitely look for a switch. Now in the realm of tolerable itself, you should be able to find out and fix the negative attitude of your consumers or customers. Okay, if he becomes a dissatisfier, enrager, remember your customer will definitely look for a switch. Okay, your customer, there is one market survey which says a lost customer to be regained need to be spent 5 times more money. You need to spend 5 times more investment in marketing, advertisement to gain a lost customer again. Okay, so it's a very costly exercise. So instead of that, take care of your customers where they are in negative tolerable. Now in with respect to our university also, what feature would you uh, would our most important customer segment list if we ask them to complete the following sentence? If only you could eliminate dash from your offering, I would buy a lot more or a lot more often. Okay, or I would get more admission. What will be that one thing that you would like to eliminate, that our customers may like to eliminate? For example, from our university, what is that one thing that is kind of irritating them? It's kind of inhibiting them from joining their students to university, their parents. What would be that one thing, one negative? Yes. What do you guys think? Yeah. Any idea what is that one thing in the customer segment, or in your aspect, what is that one thing that you think, if this is eliminated, is far better to join or to continue studies in Karunya? What is that one thing which we are tolerating? Sure, okay, if it is there or not there also, but still, if it is not there, it will be far better. What do you think? What do you think?
The continuous classes.
Continuous classes may be something that is negative. You feel tired, but nevertheless you see, okay, my neighboring universities also have continuous classes, but still, if there is no
Yeah,
continuous
if
classes,
there's a more practical approach, that would be.
if there is more practical approach, okay, so if we have a combination of, rather than 3 hours of practical, 3 hours of theory, if we have theory practical with some gaps also in between, that would be better. Okay, there's that one thing I could eliminate, I by which I my course can become much more, what do you say, attractive, or my offerings can become attractive. So what is that one thing? Yeah. Can we get rid of the tolerable in a way that competitors can't, and how? Okay, can we get rid of the tolerable in ways that competitors can't? So maybe the problem that you're facing with continuous classes or with practical learning is also a problem with the other colleges like VIT or SRM and all those things. But how can you get over it? Can we get rid of this tolerable? How can you get rid of it? Any ideas? Any ideas?
For few subjects, we actually need to consult staff for only doubts, but so that kind of classes we can have it online. So like students
Ah,
can watch the video anywhere. If they have any doubts, they can go to the college and meet the staff.
excellent.
So,
Now, this is a very good suggestion actually. Even I never thought about it. For example, so yeah, if I'm right, and if I can put it in perspective for others, so you are telling, if there are certain classes you are allowed to miss, at the same time those classes are available online, and you attend those classes and mark your attendance, right?
yes, sir. Yeah,
I attend those classes online rather than going to the, see, for example, after break you feel I'm so tired, I don't want to go to walk to the class. But I attend that class online. If that
yes,
class
sir.
parallel is
Anywhere
available
from
online,
from anywhere you want, anywhere you're comfortable.
from the comfort of your place or from the comfort of your time. For example, I'm not willing to attend that class from 2 to 3, but I'll attend that class from night 8 to 9.
Yes, sir.
And but at the same time, my attendance should be marked when I attend that.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Now this will be
Exactly.
something that you'll be happy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is something you
Like
tolerate.
suppose
Yeah,
if
yeah.
suppose the student is like involved in some project or something, like he can't attend
See.
some classes, like he
Okay,
can do
so
it after the project hours.
so suppose you are a student and you are more involved in practical learning. So
Yes, sir.
you and maybe your friends, you will like to work on maybe a university project in the college timing. That is maybe from 9 to 5. You would like to work in the lab when the labs are
Yes, sir.
available full fledged. Lab assistants are available. But at the same time, you don't want to miss your class and miss the attendance also to the class. But you want another option by which you'll attend the class online and mark your attendance.
Yes, sir.
Now that would be an exciting feature to be added, right?
Yeah,
Why
because
do
I actually faced this problem when I was back in the second year. So I thought if this was there, it would be a good alternative. And I see people bunking classes, but then they wish they could attend it later on. So
you could see that people they wanted to attend the classes. They were not bunking it on purpose,
But they don't
right?
want to sit in the class.
But they were not interested in sitting in the class the usual
Yes,
way,
sir.
right? Yeah. No, so
Yes.
now Vishnu is facing this problem. Now, how many of you would agree this kind of solution would be good for a university? What do you think? How many of you would agree that this kind of solution would work, or this kind of aspect should come? So Anish is saying he would agree. Okay. Anybody else? They uh, feel this kind of thing should be proposed, or this is something that would actually work. What do you think? Anybody else? So is this something that will attract people? The flexibility we put in the system. Do we lose anything? Do faculty lose anything by this?
So,
No. Do students lose anything by this?
no,
No.
it's actually a gain for the students.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation, right? It's a win-win
Yes.
situation. Now, this is what is called as. That is why negative tolerable should be introspected. Imagine if the universities are run by a person with an entrepreneurial mindset, what can happen to that university? Now he will look at the tolerable and not say, no, this is the tradition. Every university goes through continuous classes. They go through pen and paper exam and they have to get the degree in this way. UGC says this, AIC. But what if they bring flexibilities like this? So that is thinking from an entrepreneurial mindset. Even a university can be run by a person with an entrepreneurial mindset. What he will find, are there tolerables which my students are tolerating, but they are not comfortable with it? Let me try to fix it. You're able to understand that? Any other thing that you guys are silently tolerating and you know the solution but you're not telling it? Any other aspects are there? Now let me ask you one question. Can we get rid of the tolerable in a way that our competitors can't? What do you think? What do you guys think? Is there a way we can get rid of this tolerable which our competitors can't? For example, you have to attend a lab session. Can you get rid of this tolerable in a way that our competitors can't? Definitely you can, because the labs can be open even at night time, and since you are residential students, you can definitely go and attend that lab. But that may not be possible for all the other students in other university where it is a day college. Okay, they can be available during day, and night time they have to be available at their home. Okay, so look at, are we experiencing any complaints, and if it is tolerable, make sure, listen from your customer, okay, and try to fix the problem in such a way that it is win-win for both. Okay, it is a win for the university, it is win for the customer also. Sometimes when you take care of that negative tolerable, that can become a positive exciter for your customer. Are you able to understand this? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So do you think if this is taken care of, this can go into positive differentiator or positive exciter? Yeah. So what is tolerable, if it is taken care of properly, it can actually move on to positive differentiator or positive exciter. Now this is what a person with entrepreneurial mindset is. It takes the negative attitude of the customer and it tries to convert it into positive differentiator or positive exciter. Okay, now quickly we'll close in next 5 minutes. Quickly, when it comes to dissatisfier, are there things that people are grumbling about? Are there things that uh, that that you do, that that your maybe the other people in your business don't do it, that you are increasingly dissatisfied about? Okay, are there things like that which are dissatisfying you as a consumer as well as your parents as a customer? Are there things that are dissatisfying you, that you're grumbling about, that you're talking about, but there is no there is no answer there, there is no solution being seen? Is it something that you are dissatisfied about as students? Yeah, what do you think? Is there something that you guys are dissatisfied about? What would be that one thing that you guys are dissatisfied about, and that one thing that you are not able to find a solution? Anybody?
So what kind of problem?
From your perspective, well, let me give an example. Core company placement, is that a dissatisfier for many of them in the engineering stream? Lack of
No, sir.
core company placement, Is
Yeah,
that a dissatisfier?
yes,
Yes.
Definitely, right? But when you look at maybe other institutions in line with Karunya, even there is lack of this thing. Okay. Now, if that is the case, then it will become the negative tolerable part. Okay. But if the other institutions are having more core company placement compared to Karunya, then it becomes a negative dissatisfier, because then your students or then your customers will always look at shifting to other people who offer the same solution. Now that is why dissatisfiers have to be also be, you have to be very careful of taking care of the dissatisfier. Dissatisfier can be as small as that, finding a core company placement, okay, or finding, for example, there can be some other dissatisfiers also. Can you give an example of any other dissatisfiers that you guys are having as a student, or your parents may be having? What is the other dissatisfiers that they can be having, or you can be having, you would be having? Any other dissatisfier you're having? No? You're so content? Are you guys so content with things? Okay. So you'll be able to understand, right? What is a dissatisfied? Dissatisfied is something that you are not tolerating, but you're kind of getting irritated and you're looking for a switch. If there is somebody else who will provide me a better solution, I'll definitely go there. Okay, just because I'm not happy with this offering. Okay, the final thing is negative enrager. Okay, as people who are in contact with the customer observing reaction that go beyond minor irritation to enraging. Okay, now this may be a factor where people are actually planning to quit your product or solution. They are definitely looking for a shift. Okay, let me give an example. Just couple of days back, not couple of days back, couple of weeks back, actually I ordered some medicines on Farm Easy portal. Now you may be, some of you would have heard about Farm Easy, right? Have you heard about Farm Easy? Farm Easy is actually an
yes, sir.
e-commerce portal which provides doorstep delivery of medicines. Now, I have actually ordered medicines for my parents, for my wife, and all these things quite often on that, and I have been happy with their this thing, because due to lockdown, because we cannot go often outside, I ordered on them, and it took 2 to 3 weeks time to deliver, but okay, I was still okay. But when they delivered the wrong medicine. Now the immediate response with that I have had is that whenever I have got the wrong thing with Amazon or Flipkart, I have put a return request, and my request has been processed within couple of days. But the problem with Farm Easy was, the moment I actually tried to put a return, there were certain products for which there were no return. Okay, and they said your product does not come into the category of returnable item. Now they had given a lot of justification, 2 page of justification, this product is this product. Now the thing is, they had given me a wrong capsule. Now I had ordered 12.5 mg capsule, but they had given me 25 mg capsule, but their policy say this cannot be returnable. Okay, now then I had to search for their other policies, a helpline. Then I had to send a mail saying, sorry, a wrong product was placed by is sent by you, but your policy says it is. Now what happens is, there is some glitch in their system of operation, in their operation in their system, by which I am as a customer getting enraged. Now next time when I thought about placing an order, I'll definitely give a second thought to Farm Easy. I'll definitely go to their competitors maybe. Are you able to understand what enrages the customer? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So are there things like this that enrages the customer, maybe in a university situation? Now what would be that one thing that enrages a customer in a university system, in a service sector? What do you think? What enrages you as a student? What enrages you as a student? Yeah. What is that one thing you, it may be a small thing, it may be a food quality in the mess, okay, or it may be also something that is, walking daily from college to mess, and then coming back afternoon, okay, walking daily to the college mess daily, and then coming back to the classes. It may be small thing, but this discontentment that goes from time to time can become an enrager with time. Now let me tell you, as an entrepreneurial person, it is definitely upon you to take care of these enrages, because people who are dissatisfied and are enraged are people who will definitely look for a different solution. Okay, different solution, and they'll never come back to you. Okay, yeah, yeah. So we'll close with this final attribute, that is neutral attribute. Okay, so what? Okay, that is neutral. You have this so what attitude over here, and parallel is something that is, everybody has almost same. Now what is this so what attitude? Okay, look at very expensive attributes and ask what its elimination and reduction would do to sales. Okay, so what is this so what attitude? Is simple. uh, are there things offered in Karunya or maybe in any university which you don't like it, but it is given to you, and an extra cost is accredited to it? So what can you say? Are there some things that are given to you which it's okay if you have it or not have it, but nevertheless the university says you should have it and you have to pay for it? Are there things like that? What do you think? Yeah. Have
The
you? Yeah.
mess fees itself, like few
Yeah.
students have seen that they prefer to eat outside. They don't have to pay for the mess fees. But then in university, it's like compulsory. Even if you eat outside or in the mess, you
Mess.
will have to pay the mess
You
fees.
have no choice but to pay the mess fees, though you eat inside or outside. Now
Yes,
this
sir.
is the so what factor. Okay. Anything else? And another aspect I can tell you is
Staying in hostels,
staying in hostel.
yeah,
Maybe
like
another aspect.
students prefer to. Many of them prefer to stay outside.
Maybe some of them prefer to stay outside, but still, as per policy, to stay inside. Maybe there are some other so what options like giving blazers, right? You get blazers every year, right, when you join. Now some of
Yes,
you
sir.
may say, let it be an option for us. Why should I pay 1500 or 2000, 2500, whatever the amount is, to get a blazer when I'm not interested in getting the blazer at all? I may not wear it at all in my 4 years, or maybe once or twice I may wear it. Why should I get a blazer? Okay, why shouldn't that be a choice by which I can save some money? Why shouldn't buying textbook be a choice by which I can save some money? Okay, maybe in the first year you may get some textbooks and drafters and all those things, and extra money is taken for it. Why shouldn't that be a choice? Why shouldn't it be a choice for me to take part in placement activity or in extracurricular, what do you say, activities for which an extra fees is taken? Why shouldn't it be a choice for me? Why shouldn't it be left to my this thing? So are there attributes which can be put up as a choice and money can be deduced on a product? Look at it. Okay, look at it, because that can also attract a bunch of customers, Okay, yeah. So that is what is neutral attitude. There is few more things that we can actually talk about neutral attitude, but I'll close for want of time now here. So are you able to understand what's an attribute map and what's the importance of the attribute map? Yes. So can
Yes, sir.
anybody tell why an attribute map basically? What is the
To
requirement of an
understand your
attribute?
customers,
Exactly. To understand what your customer wants. In simple words, to understand what your customer. Remember, whenever you create a product, you should think from the perspective of whom? Whenever
customer,
your
the customer and the
customer and the consumer. Okay, not from your perspective. Okay. Now let me ask you straightforward. All of you would be doing some projects, right? Mini projects, or some of you would be involved in creating products. How many times have you taken time to study the people who would use your product or your project? Have you taken some time doing that? Very rarely though,
so
right?
the audio went off. Sir. Uh,
Are you able to listen now?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In
Yeah.
between, the audio went off.
Okay, okay, okay. Now, how many times you would have actually taken some time when you were doing your mini project or your product development on in the college? How many times you would have taken some time thinking about the people who would use it eventually? Have you given a serious thought to it? How many times your faculties would have encouraged you to think from the perspective of the person who's going to use it? Whether it was a biomedical product, whether it was a software that you were created in computer science department, whether it was a machine that you are creating in mechanical department, whether it was something that you are doing in civil engineering department, or any department, were you encouraged to think from your academic expertise perspective, or were you encouraged to think from the customer's perspective? You know the answer, right? Mostly you thought from your own personal perspective, right, or from the academic or technological perspective. This is available technologically. This is available in my with me now. Let me do it this way, right? But let me tell you, blockbuster products that we call, right, are not made with technology as the core, or is not made with the expertise of the person at the core. It is always made with keeping customer at the center. Keeping customer at the center. Okay, so the more you listen from the customer, the more you try to do an attribute map of your customer, the better the product you will make. The better the product you make. Yeah. So that is exactly what this is about. Yeah. So that's why I took two examples and I tried to explain to you. Yes. Any questions? Any questions from the participants? Anybody has any questions?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So Leo, you want to say something to the group?
If
Yes.
I mean, I hope everyone is benefited from this. Another thing, we're having a group.
Okay.
So if anybody is not there in the group, please message
Okay. Okay.
so that I can add.
Okay, sure. Okay, so one more thing I would like to say. Next time onwards, we'll keep our sessions only for 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, maximum 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, I'm sorry for taking a little extra time this time. Okay, and the examples actually had a want of this time, but next time, let's keep it for 30 minutes of talk and 15 minutes of discussion. Is that okay? Will that be okay?
Yes.
It will be better, sir.
Yeah. So we'll make it next time onwards. It will be sessions which will be maximum 30 minutes or 20 minutes of talk, 10 to 15 minutes of discussion. Yeah, discussion and clarification. Okay.
Yes. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
about the next session.
Yeah. When shall we have? We'll have it like that same way, like Tuesday. We'll have it on Tuesday, Saturday, then like that. What do you think?
So we'll put it up in the group. Like we can get suggestions from everyone.
Okay. We'll get suggestion from everyone. What do you say, Leo?
Yeah, I think we'll do that. I think we
Yeah.
can follow. Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
this is Sivas here. And also, I invite all of you to join this Tarunya alumni business meeting. They conduct it during this lockdown period on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think there you would find some veterans, some business people, okay, or alumni who are running their own businesses. Maybe this networking will be important for us, so I invite all of you for those meetings. And the sessions are also good. Okay, if you're free, please do join. We'll be posting that in your WhatsApp group also. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
sir. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vinod sir, for making this possible. Thank you so much, Leo.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for taking
No
the
problem.
session.
Thank you, sir. Have a
No
good day.
problem. Thank you. Yeah. Do get back to me if you have any doubt or suggestions. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.